8:30 and it's Wednesday, which means we've got Charlie back in studio with us. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
Appreciate it. It sounds like we've got a busy schedule. We've got 3 callers. So first caller, go ahead. What's your question for Charlie?
Yes. Are you there?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm getting up there in age and not real good health, and I want to know how this works to where if I would pass away, I would like to designate my brother, and I've talked to him about this, as executor to where he would have the say-so on all my personal belongings, like a boat, some pickups, my real estate. Where would I start on this?
That's simply that's a good question, because what that means is you need a will. And if you have a will drawn up, it can be a simple will. You can say who the executor you'd like to have the executor be, and how you want your property divided, and who you want to have your property, who you want to decide what to do with the property. You can do everything through a will, and unless you're quite wealthy, wills can be kind of simple. Most people want to give it to their spouse first, and then after their spouse, they want to give it to their children. Sometimes the courts don't do that. They have different laws that control that. So having a will, and most wills can be drawn up by attorneys relatively cheaply, and I would think that'd be a good thing. If you've got any sort of property that you want to keep of any value, having a will and take it through court is the best way to do it. Okay? And it doesn't really cost that much to do any of that. Even the courts don't cost that much unless you get really up there and you have a huge amount of wealth. A simple will is going to control most of what you need to do.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, and another question. Caller, go ahead. What's your question?
I'd like to know, okay, the driver's license court took my cousin's driver's license, but he ended up beating the DUI. Can he get his driver's license back?
Well, that brings up a very interesting issue. Driver's license court's actually an administrative court through the Department of Revenue, and it's really separate from the court system. It's a whole different situation, has whole different rules that control it, whole different burden of proof and things that happen. So if you get a DUI and they take your license for the DUI, if you win the DUI, it has nothing to do with taking your license. They're totally separate things, and most people don't understand that. However, under the law today, there usually is a way to get your license back, even if you lose it and you're convicted or you're not convicted. But you have to go to the Department of Revenue and ask about that, and you can usually get your license back. But the thing to keep in mind is that's separate. You can win the DUI and lose your license, or vice versa, either way. So you need to really watch out when you go to those hearings, and watch out when you have your license taken.
And if you do have your license taken for something like a DUI, is there a particular time frame before you're able to apply to get it back outside of fighting it in this situation?
Yes, there is,
okay.
and they have certain rules, but you also have a very limited time frame to file for a hearing to get your license back. It's only like 10 days from the time that you receive it, and some people don't read the whole piece of paper and miss that date.
Okay. Okay, we do have a third caller. Caller, go ahead. What's your question? Can you hear us? Oh, we may have lost the third caller.
Sounds like they're gone.
Okay.
Well, that is an interesting issue about the driver's license, though, because most people get mixed up. They think if they win the DUI, they get to keep their driver's license.
Sure.
And those are actually totally separate issues.
Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to paperwork.
Well, yes.
And paying attention to a hearing.
And people really need to consult with an attorney on a lot of things, especially a DUI, because it has a lot of ramifications that they need to be careful of.
Okay. Charlie, thank you so much for coming back in. And of course, if you missed out today, you can call back next week. We're going to take a break now, but more on what Eyewitness News this morning is coming up.